Let's now work on creating a hole in this piece here. I'll frame it up with the period key. And we need to go through the same process again. We need to apply our subdivision surface modifier. Let's go ahead and bring up the resolution maybe to 3 here. And if we hit the Z key, we can see the amount of resolution we're going to get. And that's probably about enough. I'll go ahead and hit apply. And now let's move the cursor to this point here. I'll press Shift S and cursor to selected. And let's press Shift A now and create a new cylinder. The cylinder here has 32 sides. Let's go ahead and take it up a little bit more, maybe to 50. And I'll go ahead and make it a triangle fan on the top and the bottom. I'll spin it around the Y with RY90. And let's scale it down and put it in place. So here we have our cutter object. Let's go back to our side view and wireframe and see if we can kind of get this to fit the way we want it to. Once again, this has some perspective to it, so we're seeing the other side of this. So we're going to have to just kind of make some guesses as to how we want this to work. So I'll just move this right around in here, and then let's go back to solid view and perspective view and just get a sense of how this looks. I'll zoom in over here now in the reference image, and I think that's about right. Maybe I'll move it back just a little bit. Let's give that a try. So once again, let's rename our cutter object. I'll name it A_cutter. And then let's select the object we're going to cut. Go to Add Modifier, Boolean, choose our A cutter, and change the operation from intersect to difference. Now we currently have smooth shading on, which is giving us this artifact. So I'm going to turn this to flat, and there we go. And now we have a cleaner cut. So I'll hit the apply button, and then select that cutter and move it out of the way. And there we go. That looks pretty good. I don't need that cutter object anymore. I could use it to make the cylinder that's going to go here, but I'll go ahead and delete it, and let's create a new one. I'll press Shift A and cylinder. Let's take this one back down to 12. Still have triangle fan. That's good. I'll rotate around the Y and scale it down. And I'd like to just get this piece right here. So it looks like it's kind of up front. There it is right there. So I'll move this into place and scale it down. And then we can tumble around and scale it out a bit to get something like that. I'm going to want to smooth this, I think, so I'll hit smooth here. And I also think I'll add a subdivision surface modifier just to give it some nice realistic edges to it. I'll tab into edit mode and insert 2 edge loops and scale them out to the ends here to hold that edge there. Now we've got some other pieces inside here, but it looks like we also have a couple of pieces over here on this other side, I think. It's kind of hard to tell which side we're on. And my general operating procedure has been just to assume that one side is the exact same as the other. However, now that we have this here, I can go ahead and perhaps break that rule just a little bit. I'll go ahead and add another cylinder here. I'll turn it around in the Y and scale it down. And I think these look like they go over here, kind of on the outside, like this. So one back here, I think, and one over this piece here. So I'll duplicate and hit Y and move it in the Y and move it over here. And just place this right over this piece, like this. And then it also looks like there's a part of this that can be put right back in here as well. And lastly, there's this kind of odd piece here. I'm going to take this cylinder and duplicate it and move it over in the X. Put this here and duplicate it again and put that there. Now I'll take these two and combine them together with Control J. I'll tab into Edit Mode, go to Face Mode, and let's select a couple of faces here, like this, and extrude these back, like this. I'll go ahead and flatten them up in the Y with S and Y and flatten those up. I'll extrude again and pull them back just a bit, and then what I'll do is I'll bridge these faces here. I'll select these, and then I'll press Control E and bridge edge loops, and that combines those two there. Now I can take all of this, pull this back just a hair. I'll scale it in the X-axis like that, extrude it straight back again, and now it looks like I could take this piece here, extrude it back, take this piece here, extrude it straight up, and then I could take these pieces back here and extrude them back. Now, it looks like the whole thing may be angled a bit. It's hard for me to see, but we can work on that here in a minute. So there we go. There's the basic shape of that piece. I'm going to go ahead and isolate this piece with Shift H, and then I'll tab into Edit Mode and Vertex Mode, and I'll select this point here and this point here, and I'll just bring the cursor to those selected points right there. And then if I hit Alt H and bring everything else back, now if I moved my pivot point of this object to that cursor, I'll go to Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. And then if I hit R and X, I can rotate this whole piece at those points like that. And then it looks like there's a cylinder going through right here. So perhaps I can take this cylinder, duplicate it, move it in the Y, and move it back to here. It looks like it needs to be scaled down a bit and moved up, so I'll hit S Shift X to just scale it in the Y and the Z. Then I'll move that up about like that. Now I think I'll smooth and add a few edge loops. I'll also do the same with these pieces here as well. I'll go ahead and smooth those and add subdivision surface modifiers just to get the edges a little bit more curved. And then in the next video, let's go ahead and begin working on adding the scope here.